Hey everybody, David here. This is another Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, basically basic rules mechanic tutorial for the Rogue level 1 ability, Sneak Attack. I get a lot of input from both my players and also people commenting on the YouTube channel or in the Twitch channel live, especially during Dungeon Master workshops, about how, a lot of people think that Sneak Attack is really overpowered in 5th edition. And, at first I was I kind of thought the same thing. But, we'll take a look at this, and then at the end, you basically make your own opinion if Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition Sneak Attack is too overpowered. So we're going to go into the very basics right now. Now, Sneak Attack, as you can see on the Rogue chart here, you will get Sneak Attack at level 1. And if you take a look at this right here at the bottom, it says Sneak Attack beginning at first level. You know how to strike subtly and exploit a foe's distraction. Once per turn, now that's the key. A lot of people get this. A lot of people overlook this. I think they just want to overlook it to try to get it more than one time to see if the Dungeon Master catches it. So a Dungeon Master usually will catch that. So remember, you get to take advantage of Sneak Attack once per turn. There's no class feature, there's no feat, there's nothing that will allow you to do it more than one time per turn. So rogues out there, one time. That's it, per turn. You can deal an extra 1d6, or if you look here on the matrix here, up to level 20 you'll get 10d6 damage. That's insane. But once per turn. And, like I said, every other couple levels, it will scale up. So basically at 3, 5, 7, every odd level. Now, there's two ways to benefit or to qualify your attack as a sneak attack. The first way is, according to the rules here, is if you have advantage on the attack roll. Now, if you're a rogue, you do get stealth, or anybody can take stealth for that matter, by taking maybe a feat that'll allow you to take stealth as an extra skill. Maybe another class can take stealth, but for the rogue, you automatically, 99% of all rogues, 100% of all rogues will probably take stealth. So if you're taking advantage of your surroundings, the shadows, the lighting, or maybe even if you're invisible, maybe from a ring, or maybe the wizard casts invisibility on you. If you come out of invisibility or stealth, big difference between the two, and you do take your opponents by surprise, that allows you to have sneak attack damage. And you get to make the attack roll with advantage. So that's what it means if you have advantage on an attack roll. Basically, or maybe if you have a surprise on the initiative tracker, maybe if you have a surprise, you can get advantage that way. So that would give you sneak attack. So another way, which is pretty much this is the main way that I'm going to show you, this is sort of like a third way to get sneak attack, is if you have another friendly party member that is engaged with a creature. So as long as you're within the range of your bow, so sneak attack can only be used by a ranged weapon or a finesse weapon. So also remember that and take that into consideration. Ranged weapon or a finesse weapon. Finesse weapon is like a dagger, a short sword, a rapier, something like that. So we're going to say our rogue is sitting back about 5, 10, 15, 20 feet away from Kobe the Goblin. He's a feisty little goblin, and he's stolen several things around the village, and basically our rogue and our paladin here has tracked down Kobe into his lair, and they are confronting Kobe. Kobe says he doesn't have his money, so he drew his weapon and attacked Vargoth, our paladin. So now that Vargoth is engaged with Kobe, as you can see here, our rogue back here does get sneak attack, because the other way that you do not need advantage for getting a sneak attack is if the enemy meaning your target is within 5 feet of one of your allies. So that's how you benefit from getting sneak attack again. So you would do your attack roll on Kobe, not with advantage, just a regular standard attack roll. And if your attack hits, depending on what level you are, you would do that much additional damage. And if you crit, you would do the extra weapon damage plus double the sneak attack. Really nice. So that's sneak attack, basically. You know, kind of like a quick overview for you. First off, you have to have a ranged weapon or finesse weapon, meaning a dagger, short sword, or rapier, another type of finesse weapon, or another type. You have to have advantage on an attack roll, meaning if you come out of stealth, come out of invisibility, or maybe get surprise during the action for start of combat, or by this way that I just showed you, maybe one of your other players is engaged with a creature, and that allows you to get sneak attack as well. Or you can even run up with your rapier or your finesse weapon, short sword, dagger, whatever you're using, and you would get sneak attack. Doesn't matter where you're standing, as long as you can hit them, and the target that the foe is engaged to is engaged at that target, or it can even be engaged to you as well. It doesn't matter. So that's pretty much it with D&D 5e. Let's go ahead and take a look back at previous editions. Now, even though this isn't really part of the tutorial, I want to show you how D&D 5e sneak attack compares to previous editions. Now for 4th edition, it was pretty much the same thing. No, not really. It was definitely different. So in 4th edition, as you can see here, down here where I'm pinging on the battle map, you can see that in 4th edition, once per turn, you have to have combat advantage against the enemy. Now, combat advantage means basically you're flanking the target, all right, or by some other way if you're granted combat advantage, all right. Now, that means that you have to be flanking the target with another one of your group mates on the opposite side of the creature. That's how you would get sneak attack damage, all right? And that's basically melee based, all right? It's not range based. I think there's a feat in 4th edition from the 3,300 feats in 4th edition that would allow you to use a bow, but just standard player's handbook, standard essentials handbook, pretty much 4th edition was basically melee unless you had something that would change it. Then you would, once you had combat advantage, which meaning flanking, then you would get the extra damage. And as you can see here, the 4th edition sneak attack damage is basically half of what it would be compared to 5th edition. So for levels 1 to 10, you'd be 2d6 extra. 11 to 20 would be 3d6. 21 to 30 would be 5d6. Now, crits worked in 4th edition like this. It wasn't extra weapon damage. It wasn't, double sneak attack. All you would do is you would add max damage. So if you had a weapon that was +1, then you do probably an additional d6 damage. So you would do your weapon damage, max damage, +6 for the plus, then you would add the max damage for sneak attack. So the potential was there to do a lot of damage. Now, 4th edition was pretty straightforward. That was pretty much the main staple on how to get an attack of opportunity. Now, 3.5, we're going to go back another edition to 3.5, and 3.5 is basically worked. You were able to get sneak attack a couple different ways. Now, the first way was to get it if your target was unable to defend him or herself, and you would get a negative dex modifier. So basically, if the target was like flat-footed, or if the target wasn't able to use its dex in its AC, so then you would get the sneak attack. Or if you had basically the flanking or combat advantage in 3.5. And the damage was 1d6, and it would increase by an additional d6 every couple levels of the rogue. And that's pretty much how 3.5 was. So, as you can see, throughout the entire 3.5 and 4 and 5 of sneak attack, the general, it's pretty much the same. 3 and 4, a little bit different because there's really no flat-footed AC or no dex modifier AC in 4th edition. But 5th edition even takes it even simpler than that. And really, as long as you have someone in your party standing beside this creature engaged to it, you can just sit back with a ranged weapon all day long and just make it a pincushion. Is it overpowered? I know the mechanics are a lot simpler in D&D 5e. The mechanics are much simpler than 3.5, much simpler than 4th edition. So in that regards, I would say yes, because you don't have to have any kind of tactical advantage to get the sneak attack bonus. So yes, I would say it is quite powerful. Overpowering, like a lot of people suggest, I don't think so. Not for the actual qualification or the the requirement for getting sneak attack. Now for the damage part, how the damage scales from 1d6 every odd level up to 10d6, and on crits you double it to a possible 20d6. Overpowered, I could argue that, and I could argue yes and no. But is it a game breaker? No, because the rogue only gets to do it one time per turn. Now, if in the future it could change, if there are other additional rogue feats, maybe another advanced book comes out, and there are feats that allow the rogue to get more than one sneak attack around, then I could say at a higher level, yes, it would definitely possibly be overpowered. But as it stands now, I think sneak attack is fine. I was on that boat at first that thought that the rogues just had it made for sneak attack, which from a combat and tactical standpoint they really do, because they can just stand back, grow roots all day and never engage anything and get sneak attack all day long. But you be the judge for yourself. I think it's quite in line with the rest of the rules and the mechanics of D&D 5e. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments section down below. Thank you guys for watching, and like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you next time.